Welcome to Through the Table Podcast Wrestlepalooza featuring Rick, Tom, Brian, and JL.
What's up, everybody? My name is Rick Williams. Been a wrestling fan for about, close to 35 years now. I watch a little bit of everything. Looking forward to shooting the breeze and talking some wrestling.
Yeah, I am Tom LaJudas, better known in the indie circuit 20 years ago as Tom Anthony. Wrestling fan for 38 years when I first saw the Nature Boy Ric Flair in a world-class match against I think it was one of the Von Erichs, who the hell knows, but it was pretty cool. Here I am.
And I'm Brian Cuff. I've been a wrestling fan for over 40 years now, believe it or not. And NWA, Crockett years, and world-class WWE, all that stuff. I think it was around 1983 when I saw my first match, so it's been quite a while. And still going strong.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to start off here with a positive and a negative for the past week, and I guess I'll start with my first positive. Is I think everyone going back live starting in July. The ticket sales are outstanding. I think of AEW is 3 shows that were on sale. WWE is up to 7. And I think the lowest capacity is the Miami show for AEW, and it's at like 75% sold out right now. All the WWE shows are sold out, 95% on all the other AEW ones. So, I mean, that's got to be a positive there for sure.
The secondary market is going crazy for the WWE shows as well.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Big dollar, yeah. Everyone's ready to do something. Been locked up too long.
And that's definitely a huge positive. It's a shame it's 2 months away, but
right.
Still, it's something to look forward to. It's that light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly. People see it.
And that was actually like my positive as well, was the live shows, but like to put another spin on it, because it kind of, I guess, mixes in with my negative a little bit, but it seems like the live shows, like with the fans, it almost seems like WWE has no choice but to listen to those fans, because the live crowd will boo and cheer who they want. I just feel like they're just kind of on autopilot with this whole Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
Just what I mean? It's the same. It's literally like the same matches every week.
Right.
And I'm just hoping that with the return of fans to live shows, that it will actually make the product watchable at this point.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more. And I've been wondering for months now, as you said, are they phoning it in? It almost feels like they're just going through the motions. And even if you watch some of the matches, I mean, it's as close to an indie show as you're going to get without the indie workers. You don't have that polish, that veneer that you normally get with like a WWE show. So it's almost like they legit are just going through the motions, just doing what they need to do until the live crowd comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm hoping that come July we see a completely different product, because I don't think I've ever been this bored in my entire life watching professional wrestling. There's my negative.
How many times can you run the same match over and over and over and over again? It seems like Raw every week. It's the same 5 matches you've seen 35 times already. And it's like, I want another match. It's like, why? You've already had 20.
Yeah.
And then the producers on their, I want you to cheer everybody now. Go cheer. And it's kind of like, that's what the live crowd's for, is they cheer who they want. They boo who they want. It doesn't matter what you want. They're going to do what they want.
Exactly.
It'll totally change everything up for sure.
I had a different positive for the week. My positive for the week was actually the Charlotte Flair Asuka match from Monday night. I thought that was an incredible women's match. I think it's something that their women's division has needed for quite some time. When we were chatting a couple of weeks ago, I had mentioned the Ty Conti match from the world title match being one of the best women's matches that I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
This one definitely rivaled it. And it's funny to me, and obviously I'm not making light of the situation, but Alexa Bliss's situation where she couldn't be there because she had that emergency, if you will. Right. That changed everything because the women's division on Raw especially has been held hostage by a female version of Bray Wyatt. You have some of the best talented female wrestlers in the world on that roster, and it's being held up by this crazy girl in pigtails with a scary looking doll. Well, you take that out of the equation and you actually let the women work, and wow, what a match that was. And it closed out the night. That might have been, that was a more compelling match than most of the men's matches that they've run in the last 6 months.
And I want to say that was they went like 3 segments, if I'm not mistaken, right? They went like a good, like that, yeah,
20 minutes, I believe.
I was to say it was long.
Yeah, it was for them. That was very long. Yeah.
It was funny that you were talking about the women's wrestling because, like, what we were supposed to record last week, that was my positive for the week was all the women's wrestlers, like especially last week they had the Toni Storm versus Zoe Stark on NXT. That was great, and Serena Deeb versus Red Velvet. I mean, Red Velvet's kind of green, but Deeb she's unreal right now. I just think like women's wrestling is just, like Tom said, just let them go, let them do their thing, and some of those girls can just make some magic happen.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this, I think that one of the two, whether it's WWE or AEW, needs to take advantage of some of the TV time that they're getting and run a 1-hour show for the women. And you think it would have been WWE because they've been claiming this women's revolution now for the last 4 or 5 years. Right. I would love to see AEW now that they're getting that second program. I would love for them to take that hour that they had on Mondays, that YouTube show, turn dark. That into turn dark into a woman's show, and blow the WWE's women's division out of the water. Because now, you're going to call yourselves a women's revolution. Well, we're actually doing it. We're giving them their own show. We're giving them an hour to showcase them. And a big, middle finger right to them would be to call it AEW Revolution.
I can see. I mean,
I was saying, don't they have a? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to back on that, saying that the last 3 weeks of Dynamite, the top-rated segments have been the women's matches in it. They've been the top-rated portions besides Jericho or MJF. So, I mean, shows you something. People want to see them. Why not give you it? Right.
It's the same thing. They're actually giving them time, and it's not just like that 9:30 spot where they kind of put them in all the time, where it's just right before the last commercial break and right before the main event.
Yep.
We'll give you 6 minutes with entrances.
It's like the popcorn match right after intermission. People are getting ready. No one's really expecting much.
mean the old school Coco Beware matches?
Pretty much, yeah.
Poor Coco. So underrated.
To go to the negative column for me, the negative came out today where the talk of WWE and New Japan possibly working together. I don't like that one bit because we all know WWE sees everyone as a secondary group to them. Basically, to me, I think it's just, hey, what if we can get a few guys and like Jay White, take them? That's who we only care about. That, if you bring over Okada, who's to say he's not going to turn into another Shinsuke Nakamura there, where he speaks English, but he's got that thick accent. Vince doesn't understand you. He's not going to give you a shot. I mean, I that's really scaring me.
Yeah, they dropped the ball with Nakamura, I think. And I just don't. Yeah, it's weird too because it's I hate to say it, but it's like I think they dropped the ball with Andrade too. He could have definitely replace Del Rio. You know, I feel like it's like the foreign stars is just they just don't get the chance that they should.
No, I mean, outside of Rey Mysterio, what Mexican guy really has gotten a chance?
Right.
And this isn't a move, by the way. This whole New Japan conversation isn't a move to actually work with them, as you said. I mean, obviously they're going to bring in the people that they want.
Right.
This is more to sour the deal that AEW already has with New Japan. That's what this is all about, especially when you have guys like, you know, Omega and Jericho and Mox who go over to New Japan. They work shows for New Japan. This is, you know, who knows? This could be, as we're getting into the live crowds, we already talked, this could be the opening salvo.
Yeah.
You know, this could be getting under something before it's, you know, everything goes full time.
And I was making the joke where they say, "Oh, it'll be even exchange." It's like, well, who are they going to send over to New Japan? Like the Lucha House Party or somebody like that? Like, there you go. You give us all your big guys, we'll give you them. Like, I could see it, you know. Or, oh, Baron Corbin's going to headline your next big show. Like, oh, I can't wait.
I think I got to go. You know, my negative's different, which is probably a good thing. And I know it's only a week and this goes to almost 2 weeks at this point, but I don't think we can forget the abortion that was the zombies around the ring for a lumberjack match. I mean, holy crap. I've never been so angry watching a program. I don't care what it was. There's been many a show that it's like that elicits a reaction. I was legit like, I was so mad.
I turned the pay-per-view off.
I couldn't believe what I was saying. This is the same company that, you know, told us years ago, like, oh, the day and age of the superhero is over and all this other stuff. And, you know, have zombies out there. It's the same company that 2-3 weeks before said that the blood and guts match ruined or set wrestling back 3 decades.
It set everything back 30 years. Yep.
Yeah. You just had zombies going around the ring.
And the worst thing in it is the Miz got hurt in the match too.
He sure did. And beyond that, and that was obviously awful, let's not forget the finish of the match. The zombies ate John Morrison.
And he came back next week.
Well, he had no choice. The Miz's knee got really The finish was they ate John Morrison. The Miz was distracted, and he ended up losing. I feel so bad for Damian Priest. Here's a guy who's been working his ass off his entire career, trying to get to where he's at right now, and he's dealing with zombies. And nothing against the Miz and Morrison. I don't think there's ever been anybody whose cardiovascular work is as good as John Morrison's in the history of professional wrestling. The Miz, for the fact that he's a you know, real world guy and has done what he has done is unbelievable. So I'm not taking anything away from those two guys.
Sure.
But they're comedy guys at this point. That's what they are. They're the comedy guys. Man, I feel bad for Damian Priest because I think that he has a potential of being a big star and a breakout star soon.
Yeah,
he's just got to deal with this. Yeah.
I just, it does suck that it's like literally the first 2 things you're doing on the main roster is you're Bad Bunny's friend and you're messing with zombies. And it's like, you know,
what's next?
I mean, I guess at least he's not Keith Lee at the moment, but you know.
Oh, poor Keith Lee. Oh man, they made him wear a shirt. That's just, you got to feel bad for the man there.
And then Vince tells a 15-year veteran he's not good enough and needs to go back to school at the training center.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, my negative for the week was actually, it's kind of what Tom said earlier. I just Raw, and I'm not watching SmackDown right now, but like just lately, Raw and SmackDown have just been just unwatchable. Like I can't even remember the last time I actually watched a full 3-hour Raw or a 2-hour SmackDown. It's just like, you know, like we were saying, it's the same stuff every week. It's like, I love Cedric Alexander. I think he's great, but there's only so many times I can see him yelling at Shelton Benjamin before I just don't care anymore. Like, it's
Well, that's the big thing. They had a match where, all right, I beat you, but then he's after him the next week like that match never happened. It's like they forget what they write the week before and they just forget about it. It's ridiculous.
The only interesting storyline right now, Brian, I was saying this to you earlier, is the Samoan Mafia. Mm-hmm. And I think that they could have, even in this storyline, I think there's things they could have done better. Like I said to you before, you have Samoa Joe on the roster at one point, and this is a guy that he's not part of that family. He's one of the few Samoan wrestlers out there that's not related to any of them. Mm-hmm, he would have been a great addition to this Mafia. And what you do is you have him going to guys like Adam Pearce, and he's giving them bits of information. And eventually one of the Usos finds out about this. He's the rat. He's the snitch. Oh, they could have done so much with this, but
and you could have had that over the headset where he comes back from a break and he's talking in the headset, oh, hold on, I'll be right back, and you don't know what's going on right away. That would have been a perfect storyline.
Because wasn't he doing that remember, like there was like a few weeks where he was like being real, just
he was kind of, you didn't know what was going on with him, right? Yep.
And then all of a sudden, done.
They just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of storylines like that lately.
Yeah, they start something up and then all of a sudden it just never happened.
Yeah.
Go on to something else now. Random. It's too random. That's the problem. No, and I don't know. Everyone's afraid to tell Vince like that. It doesn't make sense. They're just okay. Well, let's rip the script up 30 minutes before the show starts. It's like you can't write TV that way. It just doesn't happen.
Well, that's because all the guys that used to stand up and say no to him, they're gone.
True. Yeah, they're all gone.
And he's just got people around him that are just yesing him to death. And, we all lose it. It doesn't matter what our profession is. It doesn't matter if you're, playing baseball, football, wrestling, promoting, whatever the thing is a reason why we all retire eventually, because you lose something. You lose a little bit off the fastball. Mm-hmm. Not to say that Vince isn't a genius. We wouldn't be sitting here right now, the three of us talking about professional wrestling, if it wasn't for Vince McMahon. There's just no way around it.
Right, of course.
But eventually, we all lose a little bit of something, and I think we've seen that over the last few years. And maybe things change in July when the fans come back, as we said. But I just CM Punk said it best in that pipe bomb interview. But then again, the problem is who takes it over.
Right.
So that's why AEW is so good right now. It's so refreshing. Just kind of watching, not to make it about us, but I watch what AEW is doing. It reminds me of what we did or what we tried to do with the EWA. It reminds me of what Paul Lee tried to do with ECW. You have a group of boys who just want to make it happen, just want to succeed. And they're working together to make that happen. And it's so refreshing to see. And
no one gets upset if they change what they thought the match was going to be or the angle was going to be and they change something completely. They don't get upset by it and stomp off or anything like that. They just go with it because they want to succeed. They don't want to lose,
Definitely. And it's amazing to watch. And that's why I love watching AEW. It's not boring to me, even though they have the same problem that the WWE has as far as the lack of crowd, the lack of, that crowd reaction. Yeah, they've had some people there, but it's a lot of us know you're wrestling in front of 30 people. It's a big difference between wrestling in front of 3,000 to 5,000. Yeah,
they had about 300 to 400 the last couple of months. You just don't hear enough of them. It's they're not going to change anything. They're there, which is nice for the guys because you can see the matches a little bit better than just being in front of monitors. But 300 or 400 isn't going to change a whole lot.
I think it has to do with too, like the open air venue where it's just like there's nowhere for the sound. It just goes up.
Right.
Plus it's not like you're in a gymnasium. Even like indie show, you're in a gym, 30 people. You could still hear those 30 people, But like it's like you said, 400 outside in a, I guess what is that, like a concert venue?
It's an amphitheater, yeah, right.
So it's just.
It has like a roof over where they're performing all that stuff. So if it rains, you can see it on the sides. It won't hit the ring or on the stage or anything. But
Right.
They've been having a crowd there March and April, and it was freezing. So I mean, even if you get 300 or 400 people out in the cold, they're not going to make as much noise as in a summer show.
Right.
You just
to my knowledge,
you can't get into it.
It doesn't affect the Jaguars games either. Like it's completely separate. If I'm not,
it's attached to the building on the side. So like if they go into the back area, it's all together. So if you go through like the concourse and hallways and stuff, it leads either to the amphitheater or the right is the stadium. You'll see it when they do the Stampede match. They'll probably be going to both venues and you'll kind of see, you go through the curtain and it's, here you go. And then you go that way to the stadium.
Thank you for tuning in to Through the Table Podcast Wrestlepalooza featuring Tom, Rick, Brian, and JL.